Welcome to the Musear tutorial part 3. In this tutorial, we'll cover multilingual assets and language choice, programming in Lua, landscape mode, and aspect ratio. Let's create a language choice. We'll use this first scene and second scene. In the second scene, we will change this text to be also in Croatian. We will also learn how to choose English or Croatian text. Let's upload all the assets, but first save the presentation since we changed the order. Now let's upload Croatian flag. And let's upload UK flag. Okay. Now we want to upload our text in Croatian. So here we have two different texts and we want them to be in Croatian. So let's add another version, which will now be HR, which stands for Croatian. Click Next, and this one will just translate to Croatian. Zadar, grad u Hrvatskoj. And this is the Croatian version of the text. Now we can see that for one asset we have an English version and a Croatian version. We'll do the same for this one. Let's add Croatian version. We can see that we have two versions of the same text now. Let's now create a choosing point. We'll use these flags to choose our language. So let's add Croatian flag. And let's position it like this. And let's add UK flag. Now we need to add a script on each flag. So we want them to be buttons. Let's select Croatian. Let's click plus here. And let's click add. To update the language version, we need to write update chosen multimedia version to HR. So here we are referencing our HR version of our text. And then we want to transition to scene 2. Then we just validate it and save it. And do the same thing for the UK flag, but we will use another version. That will be EN. We can try it on our phone after we save it. Here we have two flags. Currently no language is chosen, so it's the default one, and in this case it is English. If we click a Croatian flag, we will get text in Croatian. Now when we go back to our first scene and click UK flag, English text will be loaded. We will now show how to program in Lua in more detail. Our goal here is to interact with instances using scripts. Lua is an open source programming language designed for embedded use in applications. We have 5 commands. The first one is transition. We already used that one in order to transition from one scene to another. Update, we also used that one already for specifying the language. Get, function command, and timer. Let's now try some of the functions. For example, when we click on this text, we want to hide this image and put these two images for languages up here. So we will put them here at 0, and then we will return them to -500 if the image is visible here. Let's create click function here. First, we need to check if the image is visible or hidden. We will do this with the function get. Is image visible is the name of the variable in which we will save the state of that image. So let's say get, reference that image 1 that we want to see if it's visible or not, and we just type visible, which is the setting on the image. And now inside of this variable we have our state of visibility. So if image is visible is equal to true. If image is visible, then update. If image is visible and we click on the text, we want to hide them. We'll say update that image 1 and change visibility to false to hide it. Else, if the image is already hidden, we want to show it. It is the same thing, but the only thing we'll do is set true here, and for end we need to end this if variable. We're now done with toggling our image with this click on the text. And now we also want to change the position of our flags. When we are hiding the image, we want to put these two flags up and we want to change their position to center. We will reference the Croatian flag first, and then we will say position y dot y to 0, and the same thing for the UK flag. We'll move the position to 0. You can put any settings that you want here and it will work. So that setting needs to be visible here on the right in the inspector when you select that instance. And then we want the same thing to go back to our starting point, which is -500 when the image shows up, and that's it. We will now validate it, save this, and we can check it on our phone. Now we have our app. If we click on this text, the image will hide and the two flags will come up. And if we click again, the image will show and the position of these flags will change. They will go down there. For example, if we now choose when the image is hidden and go back to that scene, it will look like at the start. So each time we open that scene again, it will reset. But if we want to save this position where the image is not visible, we need to keep it in our new variable, which would be inside of the scene, for example. Now we'll learn how to use command and timer functions. We can use commands on videos, audios, animations, and similar, where we can use the script to stop, to pause the video at certain point. We will also create a timer, which will trigger after 5 seconds and then stop the video. We'll create a load script. Every scene has a load script, which is loaded when you go to that scene on your phone. Inside load, we will create a timer. Our first argument is the name of the timer, so we can call it just T1. Second one is after how many seconds the function will trigger. Then we have two variables that will be null. And then we will want to start our new function, which will be inside of this scene. So video scene, and we'll call it stop video. This is how you type comments. Now I will type you what that null argument means. For example, if we have a timer like this, so the first number is the first time in 3 seconds that this function will start, then repeat it 5 times every 10 seconds. And this is the explanation of our arguments of timer function. If we add these two characters and the minuses, we will create a comment line that will not do anything. We can also delete it. Now we also need to create our stop video function on our video scene. Now we just add new script, call it stop video, and here after 5 seconds we said that we want to stop our video. We will use command function to reference our instance that we want to stop, and then we just take cartoon video and in second argument we say stop. So we can put play if the video is stopped, or we can stop it, or we can pause it and such. For now, we will just stop this video, and if we save it, the video should be stopped after 5 seconds. Okay, so let's go to our video. It's up here. Okay, the video starts. And then after 5 seconds, it's stopped. The timer starts right away as the scene loads and stops after 5 seconds. And that is all for now about programming in Lua. In this example, we will learn how to use landscape mode for the presentation. For every presentation, we can choose portrait or landscape mode. To change it to landscape mode, we'll need presentation settings. To find them, make sure you click on the presentation name and then click plus next to settings. Add default setting, viewport orientation. After adding that, you can change to landscape. And then save it, and your presentation is now in landscape mode. Since we created this in portrait mode, it's a bit messy now, but we can just move it a bit. So let's set it to 400. And also let's set it to 400 and change our scripting to 400. Now let's change the color of the background. So first let's select the scene and now click plus next to settings and add camera background color. By clicking this setting, the color will change. After we save it, we can try it on our phone. It should be in landscape mode and our background will be different for the first scene. So when we start our app, it is in landscape mode, and if we go further, we can see that the whole presentation is in landscape mode and also our background is changed. Let's go back here and let's put back portrait mode. So we do that in the settings by clicking on portrait. Let's add another image and let's add it to our scroll. We'll put it between this text and this one, and we'll set width to 800 and height to 800. Okay, now if we try this on our phone, we can see that image is stretched and it's not keeping our aspect ratio properly. So let's go back to the editor and see how to fix that. Now, how to fix this aspect ratio? First, we need a transparent image, which will be an image container of this one. So we just need an empty asset, which is fully transparent and PNG format. Let's add this image container, select our transparent image, and say image container. Now that container will keep height and width of the image, and that image inside of the container will take a certain aspect ratio and will keep its aspect properly. So let's add that image inside of this image container, and let's say that image container should be stretched. Since it's stretched here, we need to remove width. After that, we set our height to 800, which is our wanted height of the image. Let's go to our image now and let's calculate our aspect ratio. So I know that image is 798 width and height 596. And here we have our aspect ratio. We need to remember this number. I'll just copy it, the first 4 decimals. And now I can delete these settings because I don't need them anymore. Next, I need to add new settings. So first setting will be aspect minus mode with setting type string. When we have this setting, we need to write in fit in parent. It means that the image will fit inside of this container. Another setting we need is aspect ratio with setting type float. Here we need to paste our number, the one we remembered. And now if we save the presentation, we can go to our phone and see how it looks. If we go to our second scene, we can see that aspect ratio of that image is properly set.